Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Yeshi Chanzom. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Wednesday, the 14th of April. India's daily COVID-19 infections soared to a new high of over 184,000. PDM chief calls upon PPP, ANP to reconsider quitting Pakistan's opposition alliance. And Muslims in Afghanistan and Pakistan mark beginning of holy fasting month Ramadan. And now for all the details. India on Wednesday reported the highest ever single-day spike in COVID-19 cases with 184,372 new cases and more than 1,000 deaths in the last 24 hours. This is the highest number of cases India has ever recorded, and it is only the second country after the United States to record these many cases in 24 hours.
India on Wednesday reported the highest ever single-day spike in COVID-19 cases with 184,372 new cases and more than 1,000 deaths in the last 24 hours, according to the Health Ministry data. As cases continue to rise, India's western Maharashtra state, the worst hit from COVID-19, imposed lockdown from Wednesday night for 15 days. Maharashtra government ordered most establishments and public places closed in the state except those which are deemed essential, including grocery shops, hospitals, banks and stock exchanges. Meanwhile, in central Raipur city and neighbouring Madhya Pradesh state, indoor stadium and congregation facilities are being converted into COVID-19 care centres as hospitals are overwhelmed with infected patients amid the surge in virus cases.
भाई व्यापारियों को जब तक खुलेगी नहीं दुकान जब तक कमाई का कोई जरिया नहीं है और परेशानियां बढ़ जाएंगी घटेंगी। कोविड है उसके अंदर लोगों को ये समझना चाहिए कि हाँ जी आप अपनी दूरी बना के रखें।
Following a meeting of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi with top officers on Wednesday, the Central Board of Secondary Education postponed exams for Class 12, which were to be held from May, and cancelled exams for Class 10th amid the pandemic. This comes as cumulative number of COVID-19 vaccine doses administered in India has crossed the 108 million mark. As the Drug Controller General of India has approved the use of the Russian Sputnik V vaccine against coronavirus, now the country has 3 vaccines, Covishield, Covaxin and Sputnik V, for its inoculation program against COVID-19.
In news from Pakistan, the Pakistan Democratic Movement Chief Maulana Fazlur Rahman has asked the Pakistan People's Party and Awami National Party to reconsider the decision to quit the opposition alliance. He said he has received resignations of leaders of 2 parties but still wants to give them another chance.
Pakistan Democratic Movement Chief Maulana Fazlur Rahman has asked the PPP, the Pakistan People's Party and ANP, the Awami National Party, to reconsider their decision of quitting the opposition alliance, while also declaring that PDM will continue its struggle to achieve its objectives, even if the 2 parties do not return to its fold. After presiding over the first meeting of the PDM, following the withdrawal of PPP and ANP from the alliance on Tuesday, Rahman said the parties should not have made the show cause notices sent to them as an issue of self-respect. He confirmed that he had received the resignations of the leaders of the 2 parties. However, he said he had not accepted them yet, as he wanted to give them another chance.
अब भी उनके लिए मौका है कि वो अपने फैसलों पर नजरसानी करें, पीडीएम की तरफ बाकायदा रुजू करें। हम आपस में बैठकर इन शिकायतों को दूर कर सकते हैं।
The rift within the multi-party opposition alliance had emerged last month over serious differences on supporting senior PPP leader Syed Yusuf Raza Gilani's candidature for the office of the opposition leader in the Senate and the issue of resignations of lawmakers to intensify political movement to oust Prime Minister Imran Khan.
US President Joe Biden is expected to present on Wednesday the details of his plans to have all American troops out of war in Afghanistan by September 11 this year, the 20th anniversary of the 2001 terrorist attack on the Twin Towers in New York. This would miss a May 1 deadline for withdrawal agreed to with the Taliban earlier. If the deadline is missed, the insurgents had threatened to resume hostilities against foreign troops.
US President Joe Biden will deliver remarks on Wednesday on his decision to withdraw the remaining US troops from Afghanistan by 11th of September, 20 years to the day after Al-Qaeda's attack triggered America's longest war, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki told reporters at a press briefing. Biden's decision would miss a May 1 deadline for withdrawal agreed with Taliban insurgents by his predecessor Donald Trump's administration. The May 1 deadline had already started to appear less and less likely in recent weeks, given the lack of preparations on the ground to ensure it could be done in a safe and responsible way. US officials have blamed the Taliban for failing to live up to commitments to reduce violence, and some have warned about persistent Taliban links to Al-Qaeda.
The President will deliver remarks tomorrow at the White House on the way forward in Afghanistan, including his plans and timeline for withdrawing U.S. troops in close coordination with our partners and allies and the government of Afghanistan, and his commitment to focusing on the threats and opportunities we face around the world today.
In a statement last month, the Taliban threatened to resume hostilities against foreign troops in Afghanistan if they did not meet the May 1 deadline. But Biden would still be setting a near-term date for withdrawal, potentially allaying the Taliban concerns that the United States could drag out the process.
Moving on, the gruesome condition of roads has predominantly been deemed as the most important issue plaguing the growth and development in illegally occupied territory of Gilgit-Baltistan. Locals blame the dilapidated conditions of roads has also adversely affected the tourism potential of the region.
Locals in remote areas of Gilgit-Baltistan have blamed negligence by Pakistan to develop road infrastructure in the illegally occupied region, which continues to afflict their lives. They said hollow promises to fix the poorly maintained roads and improve infrastructure keep coming from the politicians, but that too only at the time of elections. The situation has not only adversely affected the tourism sector, travelling itself is a difficult task for even the locals.
इकबाल न होने की वजह से सड़कें बहुत खस्ता हाली का मंजर पेश करती हैं, जिसकी वजह से यहाँ के लोग और सयाह अजियत का शिकार है। इस वक्त भी हम जो शाहरा को खड़े हैं, ये ज़िला गदर की बालाई जो तहसीलें हैं, उनको मिलाने वाली एक अहम शाहरा है, जो कि यहाँ से एक ही गाड़ी को गुजरने के लिए बड़ी मुश्किल से एक ही गाड़ी गुजर सकती है।
Locals blame nearly 7 decades of Pakistan's illegal occupation has pushed Gilgit-Baltistan into the most neglected, backward and poorest area in the South Asian region.
Muslims in Afghanistan and Pakistan offered prayers, visited markets to buy food and special treats to mark the beginning of the holy fasting month of Ramadan on Tuesday. Ramadan is the 9th month of the Islamic calendar observed by Muslims worldwide with fasting, prayers, reflection and community gatherings.
Pakistani Muslims offered prayers to mark the beginning of the holy fasting month of Ramadan on Tuesday, despite a coronavirus surge. The National Command and Operations Center in Pakistan has issued guidelines to curb the spread of the virus during Ramadan, including the wearing of face masks and social distancing in mosques. Ramadan is the 9th month of the Islamic calendar, observed by Muslims worldwide as a month of fasting, prayer, reflection and community.
मगर मेरी आवाम से भी अपील है और आलम इस्लाम से भी अपील है कि लिहाजा अल्लाह के हम पर रहम फरमाए, हमें मास्क पहनना चाहिए, सैनिटाइजर करना चाहिए, एसओपी को फॉलो करना चाहिए.
Meanwhile, people in neighboring Afghanistan also began their fast on the first day of the Ramadan on Tuesday, marking the beginning of the holy month. Markets in the Afghan capital Kabul were busier than usual as people bought food and special treats for iftar, the meal eaten at sunset each evening when fast is broken. To mark the end of the holy fasting month of Ramadan, Eid al-Fitr is celebrated, whose date and time varies based on the sighting of moon.
Moving on to news from Nepal. After a dramatic decline in the number of COVID-19 cases in Nepal, infections have surged lately. In a televised address to the nation on Wednesday, Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli appealed Nepalese citizens to follow safety protocols and measures, citing that government does not want to impose another lockdown. The pandemic last year resulted in an economic slump and job losses. Nepal Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli, in a televised address to the nation on the occasion of the Nepali New Year 2078 on Wednesday, claimed that the government was able to make extraordinary achievements in the past 1 year despite adverse situation created by the COVID-19 pandemic. Oli's address comes amid fears of a second wave of virus transmissions causing concern among doctors and public health experts. Experts over the past year have blamed the government for failing to learn from past mistakes and focus on basics like testing, tracing and treating. Appealing citizens to follow COVID-19 safety protocols and measures, Oli said his government was not in favor of another lockdown.
हामी कोभिडबाट सुरक्षित हुनु पर्यो। कोभिडका प्रोटोकल्स, त्यसका मापदण्डहरू, सरकारले जारी गरेका जानकारीहरू र सरकारले गरेका आग्रहहरूलाई पालना गरौँ र त्यस अनुसार आफू सुरक्षित बनौँ, अरूलाई पनि सुरक्षित बनाऊ। त्यसो गर्यौं भने हामी हाम्रो जनजीवनलाई पनि सुचारू बनाउन सक्छौं। कतिपयले आजै लकडाउन हुन्छ, भरे नै लकडाउन हुन्छ, भोलि नै लकडाउन हुन्छ भन्ने हल्ला चलाएको देखिन्छ। सरकार सकेसम्म लकडाउनमा जान चाहदैन।
Nepal currently hosts active cases of 3,608 with total number of infections standing at 280,984. A total of 274,318 people have recovered from the virus, whereas 3,058 people succumbed to the virus. In news from Sri Lanka, Sri Lankan President Gotabaya Rajapaksa on Tuesday issued a Gazette notification proscribing 11 extremist organizations in the country, including the Islamic State and Al-Qaeda, under the Prevention of Terrorism Act. The notification says the move has been taken in interest of national security. Obtaining membership of the proscribed groups, dealing with their members or engaging in any transaction with them are prohibited and violators could face up to 20 years in prison. This comes as the island nation will mark second anniversary of the deadly 2019 Easter Sunday bombings on April 21, which were claimed by a local Islamic extremist group linked to the Islamic State. Earlier this month, Ministry of Public Security also announced that masterminds of the attacks had been identified a few days after church leaders expressed disappointment over an inquiry report. On the auspicious occasion of the Harvest Festival of Vishu, residents in India's southern Kerala state thronged temples and offered prayers adhering to COVID-19 restrictions and protocols. People in South India consider Vishu festival as the new year, and this festival is celebrated with great zeal and enthusiasm in Kerala.
Residents in southern Kerala state thronged temples on Wednesday to offer prayers on the auspicious festival of Vishu, the Harvest Festival, which also marks Malayalam New Year. Dressed in traditional attire, devotees offered prayers and to have a glimpse of Vishu Kani at Faza Vangadi Ganpati Temple in Thiruvananthapuram. People were allowed to offer prayers in all major temples across the state, adhering to restrictions and COVID-19 protocols. However, various restrictions have been imposed by the government in view of concerns over the second wave of the COVID-19, affected the usual festive mood and celebrations outside.
Last year we couldn't celebrate Vishu because of Corona, but this year how we can celebrate, because we are aware of this Corona. We know how to keep the social distance, and we know the effect of this Corona. So we are celebrating in a safe mode.
Vishu is dominantly celebrated in southern states of Kerala, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu.
Well, that's all we have for you from South Asia this evening. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com, You can also visit us on facebook.com/Asia Newsline and follow us on Twitter @Asia Newsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good night.